When assembling boards with surface mount components, a lot of the times it can be hard to get all of them on there using a soldering iron or hot air station. So I've been struggling mostly with the USB-C in that it's really hard to get all those tiny pins on there. So I made a little upgrade to my kit, and today we're gonna unbox and try out a hot plate. So I picked this thing up for about 80 bucks Canadian on Amazon. And I've heard good things about it, that it has a little bit of PID control and a thick top plate here so that you can evenly distribute the heat. But let's go ahead and start opening this thing up. We got the cord, the user manual, and then we'll go ahead and pull this thing out of here. Let's get this cardboard down. So let's pull it out of the plastic here. First impression is that it's a pretty, it's an all metal build and relatively simple. Just the control panel on the front here, on off switch. I've read it takes about 20 minutes to heat up to get to the temperature that you need. I may pop open the bottom here because I've heard something about checking the grounding. Let's flip it over and have a look at the bottom here. And I feel like this is touching there, so it should be grounded if I'm not mistaken. All right, so now that we know that, let's go ahead and put this panel back on, cover it up again, and then we can get to using it. All right, so there we go. Everything has now been tested, and I think we are safe to go. So next up, we'll plug it in, start heating this thing up, and melt some boards, melt some solder. Okay, so we got it plugged in. I did a quick little scan of the manual. Let's turn it on. And there we go. This is the present value. So this is 55 degrees. And then we have our set value. So that's what the value that we wanted to set it to. And I believe this is all in Celsius here. So if we go and I go set and I turn this up, right now if we're at 55, let's turn it to 65 and see how close it can get. So now that I have it set, it's going to start. I believe this has a PID like algorithm to get it kind of exactly to the temperature. So we'll see. It should, I think when it turns on here, that's the hot plate turning on, but we'll see it start to climb, and I want to see how much it overshoots or if it gets it pretty close there. Okay, that hit 65 degrees perfectly with no overshoot, at least according to this controller here. So now we're going to do another test to see how fast it can heat up. Okay, so I just did a quick cycle to burn off any sort of residue that's on there. Keep in mind that it does smoke quite a bit when you first turn it on, and it heated up decently fast. I'm setting it to 375 here. I think the full range is 400, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it off now, or turn it all the way down and let it cool down, and then we can try and reflow some boards. All right, it's time to solder up this USB-C. I have already pre-tinned the pads, so I took my soldering iron, just a little bit of solder and some flux, and I ran it along the pads here so that there would be this little tiny pillow on each one, hopefully so that when we seat the USB-C, heat it up, it just kind of pulls onto there. So let's go ahead and place this, because I got the hot plate heated up behind. We're going to go ahead, just put this in. Then let's get it on the hot plate where it will start heating. And I'm going to keep a close eye on those pins. I'll try and get you guys in there as well. Okay, things are melting. Okay, this looks really promising. It's smoking really bad. Now we wait for this to cool down, but it's looking like that might have worked. And if so, that's insane. So what we're gonna do, I'll bring the scope back over here, we can check it out and see if it actually worked. I don't know if you guys saw me in the reflection there with my little, I got a magnifying visor on. Okay, so the question is whether or not those pins actually made contact. I guess one quick way we can test this is just by poking it with the tweezers. I'll get my fine pair of tweezers over here, and we're just going to poke around, see if we can push these pins or if they are attached. Little wiggle there. Yeah, that pin. Okay, so it doesn't look like there was enough solder on some of those main pins for it to really suck down, but I want to try again before giving up on this, or not giving up on this, before adding any more solder, because I would really like it to work, but I possibly just didn't add enough flux, or not flux, possibly just didn't add enough solder paste on there. Oh, look at, I got flux on the hot plate. Okay, so this is gonna go back on there. I'm trying to push, sorry, it's bad angle. I'm trying to push down on the connector to seat it properly. Now I take it off. It is smoking quite bad, but let's get this back under the microscope now and see how we did. I'm not seeing any wiggling. Yeah, I don't see any wiggling on that. Very impressive so far. I think this could be the one. Oh, my multimeter's not in here. Let me go get that and we'll do a quick continuity test. And if that works, then this whole thing is so worth the money. Okay, this is the moment of truth. I've got the multimeter. I have this soldered. We're gonna probe the top of the pins and the pad where it's supposed to connect. And if it connects, then this whole thing was worth it. And this is gonna be such a valuable tool in my production process. So let's get it. We're gonna touch here and touch on the other side just to confirm. Okay, those two are connected, which they should be. Those two are connected. Then we're gonna go ahead and go down to this pad. Perfect, it's working. Oh man, oh man. Okay, so this is perfect. It worked exactly as I needed. Take a look at that soldering. It's so clean. So just based on this alone, and I don't know if you can see, but I struggled with the USB-Cs. Let me throw this one that I did by hand under there, and you can see what it's like. See just how mangled this is. All the plastic got burnt. There's shorts underneath. I ripped up all the traces. But this is like production grade textbook perfect. So for me, 10 out of 10. This purchase is great. The way it heated up was a little bit hot and intense. But I think I could probably just turn the temperature down, you know? Like it probably didn't need to be that high. And in the end, like it's just going to come down to more finesse. But I think this is a 10 out of 10 purchase. I'm so excited to reflow these boards now because next up I have these little sensors up there. I think this is going to be great. Yeah, awesome. So thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out this hot plate review. And if you're watching on YouTube or whatever, like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter, just like or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, awesome.